In a quiet village at the edge of a dense black forest lived a seamstress named Adela. She was known for her delicate stitches and the way her hands wove lace like spider silk. But it was her heart that was even softer. When her betrothed Arthur vanished a week before their wedding, her heart did not just break, it withered. They said Arthur went into the forest to fetch a white rose, rare and sacred, to place in her wedding bouquet. He never returned. For days, Adela searched. Her dress, once pure ivory for the wedding, became smeared with dirt and blood as thorns tore through her arms. When she was finally dragged back from the woods by the village boys, she was no longer the same. She would no longer sew. She wouldn't speak unless asked directly. She stared out the window, waiting for a ghost who would never come. But every night she stitched. No one saw her do it, but in the morning, scraps of fabric littered her home. Bits of velvet, torn lace, buttons made from what looked like teeth. The villagers said it was grief, that her mind had come unthreaded. But then the whispers began. A hunter claimed he saw Arthur in the forest. He was wearing his wedding clothes, but pale as bone, with his mouth sewn shut and dragging one foot behind him like a broken marionette. Another villager swore they saw Adela standing at the edge of the trees, speaking to someone only she could see. She was barefoot, wearing her wedding gown, though it had never been worn. Only now it was different. The hem was stained with something dark, and the bodice pulsed as if it had a heart inside. On the 7th anniversary of Arthur's disappearance, Adela opened her door and invited the village to a wedding. Her eyes were hollow, her voice distant and soft, said only, "He's returned," curious and afraid. The villagers followed her to the chapel, which had long since fallen into ruin. But inside, it stood pristine, glowing with candlelight that no one had lit. Rows of shadowy figures sat silently in the pews. They were stitched together from cloth and bone, dressed in rotting silk. At the altar stood Arthur, or what was left of him. His skin was sewn back onto his face, his lips curved into a stitched smile, his eyes lifeless but open. Adela walked the aisle in her gown of shadow and sorrow. Her veil was a spider's web. Her bouquet was made from dried hearts and thistle. She took Arthur's hand, and the moment she did, he collapsed into dust. All that remained was his wedding band and a thread that led back into the forest. Adela didn't cry. She only whispered, "I waited too long." He unraveled. The next day, the chapel was dust again. The villagers found Adela's house abandoned, but inside was a doll that looked just like her. It was stitched with human hair and dressed in her wedding gown. Her sewing needle was stuck through its chest, and in the forest, they say, if you follow the thread, you'll find her. Still searching, still stitching, trying to put her love back together again.